Happy Friday, everybody. My name is Pat Brown, filling in for Tony Wolak, who has unfortunately been placed on long-term injured reserve. We certainly hope to see him back soon, but don't listen to any of the rumors. With all that cap space freed up, we're still not going to be doing any free agent shopping. So not actively pursuing any free agents. This is the Hockey Writers Grindline, the Red Wings roundtable for the hockey writers. For the past 5 years, the Grindline's become a weekly column for the hockey writers, and now we come to you live. We're really excited for another opportunity to discuss all of the latest Red Wings news, rumors, and strategies with the Hockey Town faithful. And let's get it started by meeting our version of Chris Draper, Kirk Mulphy, and Darren McCarty. First up, we've got Devin Little. Devin, Happy New Year. How's 2021 treating you so far?
Happy New Year to you too, Pat. Good to see you. Good to see the rest of you guys. 2021. You know, I live in the States, so it's been quite a weird couple of days, but but you know what? I'm excited to be here. Excited to talk some Red Wings.
Now, that's a heck of a way to break the ice, and like I said, hey, at least we've got hockey to carry us through, right?
Hallelujah.
So, also joining us tonight, Ian McNaughton, aka Ian Stradamus, which we will get to in just a little bit here. But until that, Ian, you were crazy in terms of predicting the World Juniors. What do you got for us today?
Pat, I got my Seahawks jersey on because my Hawks are playing tomorrow. We're going to beat the Rams at home, obviously, no doubt about it. But it's great to be with you guys. I miss doing this, and I can't wait to get back into the swing of things with the season starting next week. It should be really good, and we should have a whole bunch of shows coming along, just like tonight's show, right?
So, and you're going to go beast mode on us, obviously, right? So.
Beast mode, dangerous. I'm bringing the boom tonight. You better watch out, everybody.
You know why he's here.
I like it. And last but certainly not least, we've got Peter, who was awarded our version of the Calder Trophy. So he's back for more. So Peter, welcome back, man. How you doing? Happy
man,
New Year.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Doing well. Just like Devin said, we had a good 5 days in 2021 until things got turned upside down here in the States. But, all good over here in Chicago, hanging in there.
Good. Well, we're certainly glad to have you back, and I'm looking forward to talking some hockey. So before we kick off, super quick, we do need to give a shout out to the Fiesta Bowl champion, Iowa State Cyclones, New Year's Six champions, and probably the reason why the playoff will soon be expanded. So got to give props to my alma mater. It was great to see them take care of business against a Power 5 team. But this is not a football show, gents. This is a hockey show. So let's kick off with actually something that we all participated in earlier this week. Our New Year's resolutions for heading into the 2020-2021 season, which is, believe it or not even a week away. So let's kick off, Devin, with you. We all did our Grindline piece that published earlier this week and talked about New Year's resolutions. What is your resolution for this team?
So I went with something that we discussed a couple shows ago when in regards to when we were talking about Jeff Blashill. I said that what I was looking for out of him is line optimization. And I kind of just turned that into a full-on Red Wings resolution. I just, I want to see players playing in roles that best suit their talents this year. I don't, chemistry is chemistry, and players do things for the players on their line that, you don't always see it. It might not make sense just on paper, but generally speaking, you should have your skill guys higher in the lineup, not lower in the lineup. And you should have your grinders lower in the lineup, not higher in the lineup. I want to see like guys like Philip Zadina sticking in the top six and no lower than the third line. If Blashill puts him on the fourth line to send a message, he's not going to learn anything because he's not going to score. He's not going to get out of a rut like he's playing with Luke Glendening and Adam Ernie. That's not how you get out of a rut. I just want to see players playing in roles that best fits their talents.
So in your situation then, Zadina, you would say you'd put line 2 no matter what, no matter how he's playing, give him the opportunity, at least give him the opportunity to skate with higher skilled forwards.
I think you start him on the second line. If he's on a hot streak, maybe you bump him up to the first. If he's on a cold streak, maybe you bump him down to the third. But I would not put him down any lower than the third.
I like it. Who do you take off the first line, Devin, if Zadina's hot?
So I've been pondering this idea of switching Zadina and Mantha. So Mantha is the Red Wings' best pure offensive player. So I think if they can make that work, Mantha on the second line alone gives you secondary offense. So if they're ever in an opportunity to make that switch, that's what I would like to see. But obviously, it's very depending on whether or not Zadina comes into his own this year.
I was just waiting for you to say Tyler Bertuzzi so we can get a bunch of nasty comments.
No, he's a mainstay on that first line.
People do not like when we bump Bertuzzi down to that second line. It's amazing.
He goes to the dirty areas. He's necessary.
Yes. He's an applicator,
good stuff,
but
Devin.
effective.
Good stuff. I like it. Ian, let's toss it over to you. Talk about your New Year's resolutions heading into this season.
Yeah, and by Devin's logic, I wouldn't even be in the lineup. I would be a healthy scratch. But for my expectations for the Red Wings this upcoming season, in the short, it's just building a winning culture. There's no more pity. We're going to lose some games, but don't feel sorry for yourself for losing games now. Take pride in going out there and playing every night. Take pride in the games you win. This is the Detroit Red Wings we're talking about, one of the most historic franchises in North American sports. You can't feel sorry for yourself for losing. It's time to go out there, execute, and hopefully it turns into wins, and hopefully down the line it turns into a winning culture.
Ian, no matter what happens, even if you're a healthy scratch, you're a huge locker room guy. You have to know that, right? You have to know that. So.
You're not the first person to tell me that, Pat.
I like it. Thanks, Ian. Peter, your thoughts on New Year's resolutions heading into this season?
As you guys know, like I said, my New Year's resolution was to not cheer for any more losses after we went down. I mean, as historically the worst team of the Cap era, and kind of just expecting to walk into that number 1 or number 2 spot, and then being bumped down to the 4th. It was pretty heartbreaking. But drafting Lucas Raymond, who was one of my top picks at 4th, felt like a number 1 to me. So kind of piggybacking on to what Ian said as well, I think it's just about building a winning culture this year. There's been a lot of turnover, a lot of out with the bad, in with the new within the roster, which I'm super excited about. Can't wait for the first game.
And Peter, in your defense, I think there were a lot of us who were probably cheering for the proverbial tank. And that's not the only sport either. I can think years ago when I wanted Matt Millen fired so badly that I was actively cheering for the Lions to blow all those fourth quarter leads that they did so well when they went 0-16. So,
and you know what? It's hard to go to a game and you want the other team to win. You know what I mean? I went to I saw Boston and Detroit, and Detroit scores, and I'm like, come on, man. There
were scores of confused Chicago fans saying, Peter, when this was when I lived in the Chicago area, and I was at a bar that had all the games on, and I'm watching the Lions lose. I think it was to the Cowboys. I don't really remember, but as the Cowboys are scoring and I'm cheering in my Joey Harrington jersey, I think it was. Got a lot of confused looks. But nonetheless, I like the resolution. I like the positivity. I think my own resolution that I can kind of tie into that really quick is play with confidence, like you guys have been saying. In fact, hold the lead. I tried to come up with some stats. I couldn't nail them all down by the time we published, but it just felt like so many times we'd go up in a game and then bang, bang, it was tied and then we were down, rapid fire. And that was the most frustrating thing to watch because while the team was bad, I still feel like maybe they were better than 17 win bad. Now the 17 wins did as well. Thank you, Raymond. And let's not live in the past, but I would say that honestly, in my opinion, it was just so frustrating. So I was like, get ahead, stay ahead, keep the pedal to the metal, and make teams work for it, make teams earn it this year. Mm-hmm. So anybody else have any lasting thoughts around New Year's resolutions?
I was going to say, Pat, there's a difference between playing to win and playing not to lose, if that makes sense, or playing to hold on, just like stave off, like not just trying not to lose and just trying to stay as competitive as you can. And now it's trying, and it might not happen this year. We'd all like it to happen this year, but it's going from playing not to lose to playing to win, like trying to be that competitive team and taking that jump.
That's why you're the locker room guy, Ian. I like it. Go ahead, Devin.
The Red Wings, historically, even in their low times, have been a very well respected franchise and organization, especially when they're winning, of course. But especially over the course of this past season, there's just been a lot of discourse about how the Wings are garbage now and how they're the bottom feeders, they're trash. And while they were the worst team in the league, there's no way around that. This is an organization that deserves a better reputation than that. And the only way they're going to get that reputation is by doing the things that you guys are talking about, by staying in games and not blowing leads as soon as they get them, and playing maybe not to win, but not to lose,
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. It's like you said, it's so deflating when everybody knows the 2-goal lead. It's such a cliche, but it's true. The 2-goal lead is the most dangerous lead in hockey. You're up and then bang, bang, you're tied. And at that point you're on your heels. It's just so deflating. And it felt like that happened so often last year that I think you guys have a really good perspective on what needs to happen. And hopefully Blash and the Red Wings share that perspective. We would expect that they do. So moving on, really the last non-NHL thing we're going to talk about today, because the season starts next week. Let's swing over to Ian Stradamus McNaughton, who, if you guys, anybody out there watching, is planning on placing any bets this year, you may want to shoot Ian a direct message first, because he said it here first 2 weeks ago before our last show, before the holiday break. He said USA over Canada, and there was audible laughter, by the way. It might have been me laughing only, but no. And on top of that, Ian, in a message prior to the gold medal game, you called Turcotte with the game-winning goal, and look at that, 2-0, blanked the Canadians, by the way. Let's just celebrate that for 1 minute for any of us Americans out there. That was fantastic.
USA,
and Ian was laughing all the way to the bank.
Dude, is Canada even good at hockey?
Peter, that's the $1 million question that Canada can't seem to figure out right now. It's incredible.
I want to go ahead.
I was going to say it's incredible, and the Americans, they did it the right way. They did it one barrel at a time, and really, really, really proud of their efforts. And shout out to the Americans again for not getting down on themselves. They had a really brutal opening loss to Russia on Christmas Day and did not look pretty. My hopes were not increased after that game, I'll tell you that much. But it worked out. It worked out.
Mm-hmm.
tell you, Finland was a nail biter too.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was. I wasn't sure we were going to make it there for a little bit, and what's your reward for making it to the gold medal game while playing a team that outscored? Wasn't there something obscene like 41-4 or something? Like Canada had outscored its opponents. It was like 41-4. I mean, crazy.
Yeah, something ridiculous. It was like Canada. For a while there, Canada only gave up 2 goals, and I think that was to Germany, but that was because they got to score 16 on them. So it kind of evened out, I guess.
Yeah. I want to swing it over to Devin really quick. Devin, what were your observations of the World Juniors, and what did you take from it?
So I do want to say the Florida Panthers had themselves quite the goalie pipeline. I mean, when's the last time the Florida Panthers had a great goalie, right? Ha ha ha. But no, they had they have Spencer Knight, who they drafted in the first round last year. I'm pretty sure it was 2019. 2 years ago now. It's 2021. Holy cow.
Yeah.
And then Devin Levi, love his name. But he was a 7th rounder, I'm pretty sure it was for them, and they were both the starting goaltenders for the final game. So that's if I'm a Florida Panthers fan, all 5 of them, I'm all about it. That's promising. And then other, I guess, just quick things. Tim Stützle is a gamer. He was Team Germany. I mean, basically he played out of his mind when he was playing. Ottawa definitely has themselves a good one with him. And then just kind of like what Ian was saying, just the overall perseverance and the stick-to-itiveness of Team USA. They very well could have folded after that Russia loss, and even after that close Finland game, like you were saying. But that was just, especially in the game against Canada, that was a team win. That wasn't Spencer Knight pitching a shutout. It wasn't Alex Turcotte scoring the game winner. That was a team defensive effort that prevailed over a very talented Canada team. And I hope that they're as proud of themselves as they should be.
And really quick, I'll be generous here. The last half of that game was slightly terrifying almost all game. I believe we were outshot. The U.S. was outshot 28-5 the last half of that game. So, and yet I do not look at that as playing not to lose, as we were talking about earlier. Canada, just with, I think, 19 or 20 first rounders on their roster, they were able to ratchet it up, and the U.S. was able to weather the storm. So all through and through, a solid performance. Peter, your takeaways from the World Juniors. I know you were watching a few people super close too, and curious to hear your thoughts on it.
Trevor Zegras, no surprise there, 18 points in 7 games. The big question is he ready for the Ducks at the start of the season? I would say yes. I mean, get him in there for his 9 games. If you want to send him down to the AHL after that, the entry-level contract, go ahead. But I mean, he was involved in both goals in that final USA versus Canada victory. He scored and he assisted. He also had interesting words for Canada before the game, which I thought was kind of good because, I always like a little friendly competition. He just said that, I don't think Canada has really faced a real team yet. So we'll see how they play once they play a real team. And it was like, ooh, it's kind of on. But, I mean, he brought it. He brought 2 points in the game. I was also impressed with Florian Eliash, or Florian Eliash, if I'm saying that correctly. 9 points in 8 games, played on the top line with Peterka and Stützle, assumingly taking Reichel's spot. Being out with COVID. I've been watching him for kind of the last 2 years, and he was always somebody that intrigued me. Had conversations with Corey Pronman about him on several occasions, and every time he has shut me down and told me he is not an NHL player. So, I'm just kind of watching him, crossing my fingers, hoping that I'm right. But I mean, he did well. 9 points in 8 games. He was on the top line, and I mean, some people could say he was successful because Peterka and Stützle propped him up. But, I mean, you could also make the argument that he complimented them. So, that's what I was impressed with.
Conehead one, pass, shoot, and score. Pass, shoot, and score.
Pass, shoot, and score.
So something sadly, strikingly missing from all of our commentary on the World Juniors is mentioning any Red Wings prospects. That said, I would say, there were a couple of times where I get excited. You see Raymond make a good play, knocks a couple goals, things like that. I do want to open it up to the group to see your thoughts on how the Red Wings prospects performed, aka how Team Sweden performed. And we haven't had much to say about them during this segment, and we are the grind line after all. So I'd like to toss it up. So kind of an open round table here on your thoughts on how the Red Wings prospects performed in the tournament.
If I may, that was my biggest disappointment because I was like the biggest Team Sweden. Here we go. Sure. But they had some tough breaks. They had several key players that they were hoping for that, weren't allowed to participate with COVID. Coaching staff switch on the fly. I don't think it was any fault of the team. It was just some tough breaks. I mean, I was surprised by how well Soderblom played. Great net front presence. Raymond had 5 points in 5 games. It was just kind of a
I think that sums it up, and that's why I called it out, because nobody really had anything to say. Really quick, I'll toss it over, Devin, to you, then to Ian for your Wings prospect thought on the tournament.
So in terms of fancy stats, Lucas Raymond killed it. He had the highest expected points or expected goals for rate in the tournament. One of the two, I don't remember which one. The other one, he was in the top 5. So he played well. He probably had a little bit of bad puck luck. He also was victimized by the stuff that Peter just kind of elaborated on. Overall, I'm not too deterred by Raymond's tournament.
Not at all.
Yeah. Emil Vero from Finland. He is the one who really stood out to me amongst the group of Red Wings prospects. He stood out at times, and when he stood out, it was for good reasons. Usually, when defensemen stand out, it's for bad reasons. He made good, I can't think of the right word right now, but he made good passes. He just looked good on the ice. He wasn't like the star defender for his team, but he was definitely a key contributor for their run.
How would we know anything about bad defensemen? Not like we've seen Jonathan Eriksson and Jakob Kindl in the world. Anyway, Ian, any final thoughts on the Red Wings prospect performance in the tournament?
It was kind of a mixed bag of results, not totally on the players themselves specifically. There were a lot of, I think, outside factors that play to it. Vero, like you say, Devin, he was a quality player to me, which is kind of what the Red Wings need. He's a quality, he's not just a body. He can obviously be more than just a body, which is what the Red Wings need right now, is someone who's more than just a body. Soderblom, I aspire to be, because he's just standing in front of the net on the power play, and his goal is to put the puck in the net. If the puck, it's literally, that was my job in Pee Wee hockey. If the puck is near you, just put it in the net. We don't care how, we don't care why. That's what I aspire to. But again, if you don't, believe the Raymond hype, you are sadly mistaken. That dude, for all the problems that Sweden had, that dude, God, he just, an A grade at least for just what he was able to do and what he was able to accomplish in this tournament. So that's kind of my takeaway from the Red Wings. Mixed bag, but could be a lot worse.
I like the Soderblom, see puck, get puck, shoot puck. I like it. That's how I was taught baseball. Go in the left field, see ball, catch ball. Okay. So
see puck, put puck between legs, put puck in net.
And do
I
that
like
on
it.
multiple
I like
do
it.
that on multiple occasions too. Like you know, it's not just one nice between the legs goal. He had two, didn't he? There in the turn.
Yeah, and the second one looked better than the first one.
Yeah.
They named that wraparound net goal the Svechnikov. They're gonna name that one the Soderblom.
Yeah. He's got incredible hands for somebody that's so big, you know? I mean, it's like seeing, I swear to God, it was like seeing Bob Probert out there for a second.
6-round steal.
So, all right, we'll move on. Before we get on to the next topic, just want to give a shout out to everybody who's watching us, especially our fans out in Germany. Cheers. Hopefully you like what you're hearing. You like the banter going on back and forth. Make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the Hockey Writers channel, even though I know our show is by far the most enjoyable. And I say that tongue-in-cheek. There is a lot of quality programming on this channel, and you want to be sure to check it all out. So click like, subscribe, and get your hockey fix. So now that said, boys, we have actual hockey to talk about. The next time we are all together, the Red Wings will have played regular season hockey. Can you believe it? I need a siren or something going on here. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about Thursday versus Carolina. And, you know, we've kind of beat around the bush a little bit here and there throughout the offseason, but let's get to it. What are your expectations? What do you expect to see early on? What do you hope to see early on out of this team? Devin, we'll start with you.
So I don't think, obviously every team in the league wants to win their first game of the season, but I don't think there's any team more motivated to win their first game of the season than the Detroit Red Wings. I'm expecting to see them coming out flying. And if they don't, oh boy. So, and the thing is they are playing Carolina. Carolina is one of my picks to come out of the East at the end of the season. Big fan of Carolina. So I do think that as much as they want to win their first game, they do have quite the opponent for their first game of the season. But at the very least, like we said with our resolutions, you want to see them in the game for all 60 minutes plus. I don't want to see a 5-1 loss. If it's going to be a loss, I want to see a 3-2 loss. God willing, I want to see a win. But I guess what it comes down to is I expect to see a Red Wings team that is hungry to erase the memory of last season.
Well put, Devin. Well put. Ian, what about you?
Yeah, kind of like Devin. I'm not trying to push my luck here by asking for a win, but it sure would be nice. But yeah, I mean, kind of like what Devin said, like a 4-3, 3-2, like close game where they're in it, they're competing. You know, Carolina is a cup contender this year. Like there's a good chance they could go to the finals. They have, I think, a few weaknesses, but they are beatable. And if the Red Wings are you know, motivated, if they're hungry, it can be a really good start to the season, guys. We might see a dub. We might see a win.
From the mouth of Ian Stradamus, he just said win. So that's what we're going for on Thursday.
Do I have to call that now? Like,
Peter.
do I have to?
Am I placing a bet? Tell me right now, Ian.
Peter, what are you looking to see on Thursday and beyond?
I'm looking to see Larkin with the captain with the C on his chest.
For sure.
You know, we're supposed to get that announcement. I mean, any second now, I guess. But I mean, just like everybody said, you want to see a win, but I mean, it's Carolina, you know, hoping to see some second line scoring. Excited to see Bobby Ryan playing with Fabry and Zadina, if that is in fact the line. But you know, I'm just really looking forward to seeing some of the pressure being taken off the first line. I mean, Mantha, Bertuzzi, and Larkin can't be expected to carry the team. So I'll just be looking for some competitive hockey, some secondary scoring.
I think your first point too about Larkin and the captain is we've all been waiting to see that. Every Red Wings fan's been waiting to see that now for a couple of years, really. So, it's got to be coming. They would have announced by now if it wasn't. And I know, obviously, Yzerman was slightly annoyed, it seemed, by the question, perhaps, leading off the press conference a couple of weeks ago, and just said, yes, that's still the plan. But we got to take him at his word. We all trust in the Yzer plan. So I like it. I'll tell you, for my part, go ahead, Peter. Do you have something?
No. I was going to say he does answer very very plainly a lot of the times, seemingly annoyed.
Straight and to the point.
Yeah.
Straight and to the point. You got to like it. For my part, guys, I want to see a well-coached team. I want to see a team that responds to Blashill this year and the assistants for that matter. And what do I mean by that? Really what I mean by that is I want to see Anthony Mantha not dropping the gloves. So maybe he's learned something and showing his ability to be coached. I want to see them crashing the net. I want to see a well-coached team. We've talked about it in previous iterations of this show. This is it, right, for Blashill. This is the year for him to show you've got a little talent. We don't even expect the playoffs, but we expect to not be embarrassed. Can you do that? Personally, I think the answer is yes, and I think he will. But I want to see a well-coached team out there that's competitive, that's confident, and where its first-line forwards are not dropping the gloves to defend a fourth-line forward. And that's my part of that. So anybody got anything, any last thoughts, or want to circle back around on anything?
Nope.
All right. We will move on. We're going to end today's show with a little bit of fun. And we're going to start with you, Devin. So what we want to talk about to end the show is one rule change that you would like to see in the NHL. And, some of these have been played around with in the past. Some of them haven't. Some of them are old and things like that. But want to see if you could change any rule in the NHL. What would it be and why? And Devin, let's start with you.
So I got my idea. I want to say it was from one of Elliot Friedman's 31 Thoughts from a while ago. I couldn't tell you when. But he had said something along the lines of certain owners are curious as to why they still have to pay their players if they're scratched and just sitting in the press box and not doing anything. So what the idea was and is, and ever since I heard it, I was like, that's a cool idea. What if your players aren't scratched? What if they're potential substitutions, in-game substitutions like soccer? You don't have them hanging out in the press box. You could do that if you don't plan on them playing, but what if they're kind of in standby in the locker room? And maybe if a guy in your lineup isn't feeling it and you can just tell it, you can make that swap. I just think that idea really gives the coach a lot of options, and also might change the way that you build a team and figure out who you want to include, because you might have a reserve or a substitution or whatever you want to call it that is very, very much offensively oriented. We'll say like a Martin Ferk from back in the day. And maybe you save him for a third period where you just need a goal. And so you plug him in to add, that shot. And then you could do it the other way around too. If you're nursing a 1-goal lead, maybe you have a scratched or substitution player that you can sub in that gives you more of a defensive presence. I just think that that's a good way to not have players sitting around for weeks at a time. We hear about that, how it's like, oh, this player's first time playing in a month. We'll see how they do. Well, maybe if they've gotten, a period of play here and there, maybe they're not so rusty. And then also, like I said, it just gives you, it gives the coach more to think about. And I'm all about that.
As long as that doesn't interfere with the feel-good story of the emergency goalie that we see like once a decade,
For sure.
I'm all for it. But you gotta love that beer league goalie coming in.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I love it. Love it.
Devin, I think that's super interesting, actually, and was not expecting to hear that from a strategy. Like, I was thinking in-game rules as opposed to roster regulations, and I really like where your head's at on that. I think that's pretty cool. That'd be cool to see. Ian, what about you? Hot take time or what? What do you got?
It might be hot take time. Devin, I know what you're talking about because I'm pretty sure every hockey video game ever, they've always got someone saying, oh, here, you're putting in the backup goalie. It's always tough when you're coming in cold to try and, help your team out. It's like, yeah, we know. That's not it. Like, that's what you're the backup goalie. Like, you're not going to be warm all the time.
That's how that works.
That's obvious. My rule change. Now, this goes back to a bit of a story a few years ago where I think what we need is instead of 5-on-5 hockey, we do 4-on-4 full time.
Okay.
That it's exotic, I know.
That's
exotic.
Spicy.
It's exotic. I get that, but part of that stems from I want to say it was 2018 when I was watching the Stanley Cup Finals with my friend who was a Leafs fan, and he was playing he was watching his team play the Bruins in Game 7, and I said to him, like, I'd like to see 4-on-4 all time. Like, I think that would be really cool. It's faster. You're going to get more scoring. It makes things interesting for special teams. If you want to do like a 4-on-3 type thing, I think it would be really cool. And he's saying, you just go into the box. It's easy. Like, there's no, it's not hard when you play 4-on-4. And then on the 4-on-4, like Toronto gave up a goal. And like, oh, it's so easy, is it now? I didn't realize that. And so that's why I partially want to see like 4-on-4 be instituted full time. You still do 3-on-3 overtime. I think that's really cool. I think you get more scoring, you get more action. That's kind of where I'm going with 4-on-4 full time. I think you keep the same roster spots, although I like Devin's idea for some subs in case you have an injury or you just need to change or whatever. But 4-on-4 full time. I'd like to see that. It's never going to happen, but I'd like to see it.
How about 4-on-4 on an international rink?
Oh, dude.
There you go. Imagine. Just imagine.
Set Connor McDavid loose on that.
I really like it. That would be fun. That would be high scoring. That would be fast. And a rule that I think would complement that very well would be you don't cap penalties where there's still 3 guys on the ice. Have a 4-on-2. See how that goes.
4-on-2.
That would be an interesting twist to that.
And then Ovi would score 1,000 power play goals in the circle to add to
Ian's gonna get Alex or Ovechkin to break Gretzky's record one way or another.
Yeah. That you caught me, Devin. You caught me, big guy.
Alex Ovechkin scores 75 goals in the third period. It's good stuff. Good. I like it, Ian. I like it. Peter, well, what about you? If you could change any rule, what would it be?
Well, I mean, following those two, like, mine's like totally boring. I mean, like, those are both like galaxy brain like rule changes. I simply want to get rid of the trapezoid.
There you go. Hey,
it was invented for one goalie, Marty Brodeur, who could play the puck really well. And then I think, quoting Brian Burke, he said, it would turn into a tennis match of Brodeur throwing the puck to the center, them dumping it back in, then he throws it back, and then I get why it was created. When it was first created, I can't remember the year, but I remember when it was created, and I remember being a kid and being like, yeah, like, this is really going to do it, And now I see the trapezoid and it just makes me sick. It's just like, let him play the puck. I mean, almost less than 50% of goalies, I would say, are actually skilled at playing the puck. You know what I mean? Let them go for it. And also, the most important thing, I think, is that it puts defensemen at risk. When the puck goes behind there and gets right outside that trapezoid area and the goalie can't go get it, you get a defender going in there and you don't know who's coming behind you. You know what I mean? That's where a lot of those glass to head collisions come in. And, you got guys going out with concussions and everything like that. I think eliminating the trapezoid would take care of a couple of those problems.
For the record.
How about a variation? Oh, go ahead, Devin.
For the record, I completely agree. It's time to get rid of the trapezoid. But
thank you.
How about a variation? You keep the trapezoid, but the goalie can handle it outside, but you can check him if he's playing the puck. And
I'm fine with that
too. So inside the trapezoid is just like an extension of the crease, and then beyond that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd love that. That'd be great.
No, you know what, Peter? Your rule is actually like the most practical, the most likely to happen.
Yep.
The most useful, I think, for this. Like that's what I think your rule actually is like better than ours in many regards. But
I appreciate that.
That I think that would also be really fun is just extending the goal crease to right behind the net, and then it's like, hey, fair game, we're gonna run your keeper, and then we might even get
better. That one would
and then
be
we
better.
get more like emergency backup situations.
It all comes full circle.
Or more enforcers end up coming back into the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're pulling fans out of the stand to play goalie because you've lost 3, including your emergency backup.
Our buddy Tony might be able to play goalie for the Red Wings if any of these things come to fruition.
I like it a lot. That's good stuff. For my part, I'll throw it out there. I always thought it would be kind of fun to see. Believe it or not, you haven't always been able to ice the puck during a penalty kill. I forget, I think it was the 60s. I forget specifically when that rule was enacted. Understandably so. I get why. But boy, wouldn't it be fun if they took that away and teams were no longer to ice the puck during the penalty kill. First of all, it would make anybody's penalty magnified that much more when you take one. Certainly would increase scoring, hands down. So if the league's looking to increase scoring, that's the way to do it. But I just would bring a different element of strategy to the game, even on if you're looking at a potential shorthanded break or something. If you haven't had a chance to clear the zone in a while, how do you move forward with that? So I always thought that would be a little bit of fun. Again, Peter, I'm with you. It's not nearly as exciting as what Devin or Ian or even Peter, what you talked about, to be honest. But I think it'd be kind of a fun little experiment to see how that goes.
Mm-hmm. I think that you would see a lot more players on the penalty kill that can carry the puck, because at that point you can't dump it anymore. So you'd have guys like Larkin, for example, that like have to be on the penalty kill because he can carry it out of the zone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and the other rule they've always talked about is having to serve the 2 minutes for a like even if you get scored on, you still have to serve those 2 minutes.
You have to stay. It's like a major.
Yeah, it's like a major. Like they've talked about doing that before, both of which would be interesting. But I mean, there's a whole special teams, a whole whack of things you can do with special teams to make it exciting.
Mm-hmm.
You have to serve the 2 minutes, and you can't ice the puck. Boom.
Perfect.
If I'm a coach, I'm just telling my boys, do not take a penalty. Don't do it. Don't think about it. Don't even.
Yeah, there's going to be one coach who's just like, if you take a penalty, you're going to.
His name's Mike Babcock.
On the flip side, dives would reach an all-time high at the same time. But anyways, I digress. Good stuff, guys. Appreciate everybody joining. Does anybody have any parting comments as we head into, believe it or not, hockey week?
Let's go Red Wings.
Go Wings.
Let's go.
I'm gonna call my shot now. I don't want to waste this. I'm gonna call my shot. The Red Wings will win 1-0 Thursday against Carolina. Red Wings win 1-0. I'm gonna call that now. Yeah, 1-0. I'm gonna call that now. That's on the records. If it
Ian,
actually does happen,
who
if
gets
this
the goal?
happens,
Who gets the goal?
ooh, Tyler Bertuzzi. We just
First. First line Tyler or second line Tyler?
Oh, okay. I'm not.
You are now our reader's favorite contributor. Good job, Ian.
We're gonna get so much engagement just by me saying Tyler Bertuzzi's gonna score on Thursday.
I swear to God, if they
I
win
like
1-0.
Well, you heard it here first. Ian Stradamus for the win. So go get to the Mirage, place your bet, and we're looking forward to a great year. So thank you guys for joining. Thank you everybody for watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next week.